Very, very good evening, my brothers and sisters. I hope you are doing very well, recovering from the royal wedding hangover. It was a beautiful day yesterday just to see Harry and Meghan get married. It was history in the making. I'm sure some of you will agree with me because we came to see things that we never thought we'll come to see happen in the royal family. But it's all in the timing of God. People are talking about so many issues. Some of the things that they picked out of it. Well, it's the time of things. But well, anyway, today I have got my special guest who is very passionate about mental health issues and issues to do with domestic violence. She's an advocate in those areas, and she's been so outspoken about those things. Those are things that are very close to her heart. We've been talking, she's been in touch, and then we arranged that today she can just come in here and talk to us more about what she is doing, and especially that she is moving further to set up a foundation so that then she can help a lot of people. I know she's been doing a lot of work here in United Kingdom. She is a very good friend of mine. She does call and encourage us. She's also a Rainbow fan. Most of the events that we have hosted in UK, she has been around and she's been supporting us. So I am so honored tonight, this evening, that she's going to be coming here and she's going to be talking to us about some of these issues that are affecting our members in the community. So if ever you've got any questions that you want to ask, I'm sure she will be in a position to answer. We are going to find out as well whether she's an expert in those areas or she is just someone who's advocating, or someone who then, when she is spoken to people that are going through things, and she signposts them to the relevant people to basically seek further help. So let me see if I can invite her to come in here and talk to us further matters. Beautiful.
Hello.
Hello there, Mamoyo.
Supposing 2 minutes.
Oh, I am so sorry. You know, I've been trying to work out the connections. You know, I'm not novice to these things. I'm just different to you. You know? These are the things. You know?
Okay.
But how are you doing?
No, I'm doing great. The weather is fine.
And Manchester is doing all right.
Ooh, very nice for a change.
But I heard they lost. Was it the FA Cup? They lost Chelsea. The Manchester United.
That's the bro. Ngafuna ukungihleka siku live uyangikhipha enkosini. Siqiliwe vele there's something cooking. Vele indaba le engihlabile la. Vele ngifuna ukukhuluma ngayo.
Right.
Siqiliwe lapha, siqiliwe straight.
All right. I mean, I think that's some of the reasons why I just completely gave up with football, because it just is so disappointing, you know. And you know,
then
the expectation
you choose now. Platform there, you choose now. And you have no memory.
Anyways, Sibusi, how are you today?
I'm so busi.
Hey, Sugu, I am so sorry.
God, give me a signal. Anyway, Aglanda Busi. So, oh, hi, Vet, Kululego, bro. Thank you. Yeah, Vela, I'm a big fan here, Rainbow. So, Yonkin 30 Rainbow, you mean Manchester. Icono.
I know you've been so sub. Remind me again, how many shows have you attended that's been hosted by Rainbow?
Loads. I attended Lana Melbelo Lundi. I attended Lana Lomkululi. I think more than 4 so far.
Wow. So what was your experience?
All the way to London.
Yes, and what was your experience like?
When it was a blessing. Was a memory. And you be saying, when I start dancing for my God, it was great.
All right, because I remember the first time when I got to know you, Mrs. Lindy, I hope you're all right. I remember the first time when I saw you, it was when we hosted Umamu Deborah, and you love her so much.
I do. We kept on talking like a messenger. When she was not feeling well, I had to help her to the stage. I just stayed there. And people were like, we want to take photos. She's such a lovely, lovely lady. She's such a lovely, lovely, very lovely woman. Yeah? Yeah. He talked and spoke.
Let's get to our reasoning of the interview today, Sister Sugu. I know you're an advocate and you are so outspoken. I chose a question today which you picked on at some point, which I know may be a bit hot for some people today. You say that a true man never hates a woman. What do you mean by that? Don't women hate men?
No, but women do. When we're talking about domestic, normally nowadays I'm doing the abuse like the other. But when we're coming to domestic, yeah, as a place where I say men hurt too, and instead of the girl child only, are we forgetting the boy child? But let's face it, growing up, how many times were you ever told to a woman has abused a man? So if you are a man, I know men who like, okay, we see Njani. But if you find yourself a man, he is somebody that you know you overpower, but hitting them to an extent, even calling them lovey or my wife is just different. And remember, hurting is not only about physical. Sometimes words stick, calling somebody names, when are useless, all those things. You see. But no, to clarify, I know women, yes, do hurt men too, but mostly 80% have actually realized it's men. But so when we're talking about the abuse, basically I studied before Abo Live. I think most people know me. There was an incident that happened that made me think, you know what, let me just speak out. So I would do my videos and send them. So when I stopped, I remember this other grandmother, I'm born and finished. She was like, and I'm like, you know, you are ashamed. Them knows me. Says, okay, but no, then keep on bringing those videos as it is. So I kept on until alive. But why did I choose okay, Sugu? You use your story to try and encourage people to speak up. It's because one way or the other, I realized that what happened to me without speaking out was something I wouldn't want anyone to go through. And even when I left Zimbabwe, I wanted to do this thing that I'm doing now 18 years later. I was about the girl child. But you know how God works in his own ways. So then it makes the good is I trained in mental health nursing. But in all, I realized for Tubuti, most cases, abuse brings trauma. And then most cases you find that people have mild flashbacks. They'll have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety. So I said, you know what, these things link. And both topic, there's so much stigma.
Right.
How many suicides have you had?
Before we mix up things, I suppose I would like you to break these things down so that then we can lead to the mental health issue, which I'm very much also passionate about, where I think is an area where we need to learn more. But let's finish this area of domestic violence. Yeah, domestic violence.
Domestic violence.
Just briefly in passing, going to the mental health issue.
Right, domestic violence.
For how long should someone stay in a relationship like that, and how do they see the signs? What should they do? Where can they get help?
All right. So first of all, domestic violence is not only about physical beating. There is emotional. There is financial. So you find okay, this person, what I've realized in our society is the reason we see all these measures with trying diaspora is because us as people, we don't talk. Why? Because I'm gonna say to you ladies, Most of us, when I tell you something, when I take my pain as a gist, you don't help me. I help people, even if I won't talk. But I will say it starts with you there. Because when as an individual, if I'm going through a domestic violence and I tell you, just you listening helps. But how is it gonna help when I tell you and the next day I can hear it from church? How is it gonna help if then people just come up and take the violence and take the abuse? And then most of the times, if the person stays in that environment, the abuser gets under their skin. Because
right. So when you are talking about which corner, when you tell somebody about what you are going through, are we saying we don't have role models in our community, people who we can trust? Which when I tell them my problem, they will counsel me, they will advise me accordingly and not go around speaking about me. Because I know nowadays there's social media. Some people prefer to take these things to social media and think they'll get answers, but I'm not sure that social media is what answers. So are we lacking in our communities ukuthi sibe nabantu omama abama role models? Is that an issue, or abantu they don't know where to go to get help? Where are we missing it?
You see, like now I raise awareness and you come to my inbox, you tell me, and I tell you first what we're gonna discuss here is gonna be confidential. Whether you've been referred by you, Stephen, I don't tell you the outcome. So I show you the places to go to, and stuff. But the thing is, I'm not saying there are no more role models, and you don't need to be a role model to help. I'm just saying we've been raising awareness for a long time, but people don't stop. It's a habit. It's a force of habit. It's a spiral that we have to break. Because if they tell you and they talk about it, next time they won't tell you. Or the person you've told about somebody's secret, when themselves going through that, they won't talk. They won't talk. But I don't wanna come to the support. But I'm coming to the abuser. As an abuser, if you are abusing your wife, you are abusing the children. Because when the children hear those slamming doors, when the children hear those screams, they'll always remember that. Imagine when they go to school. So we need a platform in which we all have this passion to say, you know what, my sister, you told me this. If it's prayer, you know what, you're in a prayer group. My sister, let's pray for our brothers and sisters for all this violence that's happening. And we pray, but we make sure we don't leave it there. Even the Bible says that faith without works is dead. So let's just as women, do you know the thing? Women have all these barrier associations. I'm a club, where they buy clothing, they buy kitchen. How about having that club? Today we are talking about this. Show because one thing we should know, domestic violence will always be there. But if we don't talk, that's why you find somebody is dead. Because this abuse started maybe 3 years ago. There was a sister who told me, my husband was a youth leader in church. Everybody thought he was a man of God. He would come and pick me up from work. They thought it's love. But he used to beat him so hard. And she's saying there was a time when she had actually poured water over me because I had fainted. You see, so it has no gender, no color, no tribe, no nationality. It's abuse and it's there.
I see Usis Lindy here has just made a contribution. When you see the signs, you don't have to wait. He says signs are always there, but we choose to ignore them. Firstly, when someone is controlling you, that's a problem. That's what she is saying. Then he says the way they speak to you, such things lead to so many things that lead to domestic violence. And then she goes further to say that I think people are scared of the unknown. Life is so hard now. This is why we're becoming more and more vulnerable and all those kind of things. But also culture, don't you think it contributes to the if I then leave this man that means I will have failed emshadweni wami. Then I have to sacrifice and stay because bazothini ekhaya, what are they going to say? So umuntu aze agcina eselimala more or eshona lapho because of this thing of what are people going to say, and then they sit there and they suffer in that situation.
You know,
what do you say?
I always say, Mina, it's society yethu. Sometimes they eat too judgmental. That phrase at eti umendo unzima. That phrase eti lati sasichaywa. Yeah, you could say that, but it's different. You can't stay in a relationship not only about Allah, but your other friends. They'll be talking, oh, remember, did you know? They've broken up, they're not married yet. So it starts with you here. How can you try and take the gospel to Africa when you are here and you're getting all the info, but you find yourself? You don't judge. Some people take it, but marriage classifies you. If in marriage is bringing you pain, in marriage you're even scared to talk, you're always working on eggshells. Marriage is love. Where there is love, there is no fear. But if you find yourself in fear all the time, whether the person drinks, when they come home drunk, you are in a punchback. All I can say here is we're just starting. To all men, I'll tell you one thing. I am not saying there is no abuse on men. There is emotional abuse. I've supported men too. But I can say to you right now, my sister, don't think about what they're going to say. Bazotini syndrome. It's your life. And if you have children, do you want them to be orphans? Or do you want them to stay in this home where there is no love, but violence? Because I'll tell you one thing, Stephen. This is a boy. You sing, I'm growing up. My dad is always beating my mom. How is that boy going to be? It's a trend. He will think it's normal. Because when they've done it, you know what they do? You made me do it.
So it says, I'm so proud of you, sis. I don't know you were doing such a great job. That's one of the ladies that's making a comment for you. And another one is saying, it's pride that hinders people from walking out, and expectation that a woman should be in a relationship. That's very true. We need to start from correcting our cultural beliefs. It's not that we have adapted into the Western culture, but the reason why we don't stop is because we have passed it from one generation to the other. And absolutely, this is all right. But then again, any interest that you mentioned.
I think now second name
you so looking at it from the other side, we have this thing amongst men that says indoda ifela phakathi. You know, a man does not speak. You stay as it is, and you suffer in that relationship as well as a man, because there are other women that can muhula. Yo, bayashaya labo mama bakhona. They just give you one good clap.
But you have to get one child lawe.
Hey, bakhona so yo. You know,
no.
I'm gonna come, and I am still looking for an expert who is gonna address men, because there are so many of my brothers out there in relationships that are suffering in silence, because these sisters in their homes are really making them to live like as if they are in Guantanamo Bay.
Okay, so, bro.
What do you say to those men who can't walk out, but they sit there in silence? And if they open their mouth, then they end up having this lady who then starts screaming domestic violence. What advice would you give?
Listen, bro, and as you know, I support men, women, boys, and girls. I'm glad, because now men don't feel weak when they change it. This is what I'm going through this. Amen. But the thing is, sometimes, you know, in our community, why do you want to blame the person, the victim, when they report you to the police? Because most of the times, yeah, is there, but sometimes emotional abuse. Bakhona abanye abosisi who talk too much. You know, they will tell you ukuthi vele awuncedi, awuyenzeni. I remember there was this Jamaican fella, and in the end, what I normally do is tata ama recordings, because ungahamba city domestic violence, you know, in this, even in this country, they want proof. They say there's no evidence, so they put a recording if one because it's going for so long, and then with that they put it. But then before we get there, why can a man feel weak to tell you ukuthi hey Job, angifazilwane uyangitrapa? Yeah, you know, you don't have to feel weak, because those people that you scared about, they probably going through the same thing. I'm not saying men can never be abused, but I said 80% it's women. But yes, men can. I'm not talking about no. I'm talking about the way you be belittling somebody, cheating on a man, ukuthi like that, bahamba khona kasela, it doesn't have dignity, because they know what would you say in what this happens, you know. So domestic violence is not on. If you listen to my videos, I've said it's not only on women, men too. And I'll say it again. You're staying with a partner who abuses you and you've got children. You are letting those children in abuse. So my brothers, I know there are some who've got to my inbox, we spoke, even let depression, now they talk to me. But don't stop. Don't stop, because people like me won't judge you. But people like me, I stand in between men. I should have invited Timothy Peace. I stand and tell them, what you might be said here, you are laughing about, but you're scared to go home, because that woman will tell you what you don't even have any money. We don't have it, because you know when you are married is to have and to hold. So if I'm earning more than you, that doesn't mean I'm your boss. You know, as I said, our aunt, we don't have aunties here. You'll be my uncle, I'll be your auntie. You will tell us who auntie Sway. You might not call me auntie Sway, but so I'm because we have brought boys when in the school, whether we know in the village, they'll say, yeah, then that boy grows with pent up anger. That boy might, I'll tell you about violence, that boy might be sexually abused and molested, but he doesn't talk. And then that boy will become this angry boy, will be an angry man who's angry, hates women. And when they're married, they'll kill a woman. So we need to look at all angles. We should say, yes, don't say, oh, you are European nice. No, we now know better. We now know better. Brothers, speak out. Don't be scared. There are numbers like Lapa Men's Aid. It's anonymous. You can call it. And after this, I'll put it there again. You are not
okay. I was going to go to that. To those that are going through, is there help out there, and where can they get that help?
Yeah.
And also in the communities that we live, are there groups where people can reach out? If you have people that are scared, maybe just because of the stigma of other things, what will be your suggestion today? And the last question that I will ask is, do I have to wait for him to raise his hand or her to raise her hand on me before I speak out? Or I should try to be in a position where we find a way to manage the situation before it gets out of hand? How would you respond to those 3 points?
Yeah, with everything, they say nip it in the bud, right? You started shouting at me, calling me names. Yes, you've pushed me, but you didn't physically beat me. You've done this, and it's making me uncomfortable. We get some time, me time, whether the children are not there, then we talk. You know, when you do such, it hurts me either. But if you cannot talk to an extent that you cannot talk, you need a third party, let it be. But physical, I know some of my people, they say so. The minute they lay a hand on you, report it, because it starts from there. One day they will push you. push you, and then in the end, you will knock with your head. So the minute somebody raise your hand on you, why are you staying? Why are you giving them the chance? Why? You might say we've been together for Sasa, but your life, you need to live your life. Yes, emotional abuse, it hurts, but normally I find men it's after I work a long time. But in men's aid, with a men's aid, it's an anonymous. They will help you with ways. Because you know one thing, if somebody's always telling you how useless you are, you end up believing that. You end up being so insecure because me and you, we love each other, but I'm always telling you about your shortcomings. I never praise you. But so why are we in the marriage? Is it like a game with, you know what, me and you, we are partners? Because if you are a marriage, it's love. Love conquers all. If you love me enough, you won't be able to raise your hand and hurt me and tell me what to, oh, sometimes anger does this. You talk third party, if it fails, get out of there. You're not helping yourself.
Okay. So if you happen to visit a friend and you realize Uguti, something has just happened and it concerns you, what step would you take if you find Uguti, the friend is hesitant to report and you feel what has just happened is not right? Would you pick up the phone and
you mean me now
something?
personally?
Yes.
Me now, I'm this person, they know me. I don't have this thing Uguti, who's that thing, and then I'll call anonymously. Definitely.
Right. Okay.
I would before, I think growing up is helping me. Before I would confront the person and say, aren't you ashamed of yourself? Abusing this woman, I could see this. But as I grew up, I realized that, you know what, confronting the person who's already an abuser is not helping. Because they don't care what names you call them. So I call that. Same thing with sexual abuse. There are all the numbers on my speed dial. I call. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be there in your funeral and say, oh, do you know most people say, Sasim Jela, we used to tell them, this man used to be there. And then you say it's love. No, my brother, no, my sister, love doesn't hurt. If you love your partner, you respect, you treat each other respect, you love each other. If the love is not there, get out. Because you're going to die.
Okay, so what are the true qualities of a man?
True. I need something in my life coach, be that, bro.
No, I'm just asking, you know, so that then Caesar was Caesar, you know.
No, look, I mean, a good man from where we were brought up, a good man looks after his family. You don't just sit there and think, yeah, you know what, I mean, I'm from 70 or just work. No, you love your family, respect, loyalty, and trust. Because once the trust is broken, it can't be repaired. And another thing, just do you. Don't think because Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so do it like this, why can you not do that? Don't compare your partner. Don't look at somebody else and think they are better, because you don't know what goes behind closed door. You should be the protector. Don't make me feel I need to be protected from you. You should be the one protecting me, not me protected from you. And then respect. When you speak to me, don't look at me as if, okay, I'm just something. I'm talking on both parties here. I'm talking men, I'm talking women, but men now, because you asked me about a man. You are a man. Sometimes you know to mama when they are not happy, mama can talk. For how long? What happened? Come on, same thing. You know, that person will come and say sorry. And men, you should know the word sorry. That word sorry is a small word, but it can change things. And when you say sorry, don't say sorry, but put the but away. And don't think if you are helping your woman in the household, whether you are cleaning together like this, and then it's low way. You've been doing it's love. I see you are busy. Hey, sweetie, let me help you. So don't look at what other men are gonna do, because you don't know. You can talk to club, you are watching football, you are drinking. I mean, but they don't. And then when you go there, you treat your wife that way. You go there, you find them, they are holding hands. So your relationship is between the two of you. Never let there be a third person in your relationship. And when you cheat on your wife, when you hurt your wife by cheating on her, do you know what it does to them? Regardless of the gossip outside there, you are showing her that you're not enough. So if you love somebody, loyalty, respect, trust, respect, and trust. Yeah, we're not in, you know, a cup. When a cup breaks, I need a China cup. You're and you're trying to put it together. Those cracks are there. Wait on your apology. Don't expect to say, I say sorry, so what? No. That's all I'm saying, brothers. You are not weak when you say sorry. Instead, you are a very responsible person. You've made something wrong. You know what? I'm sorry I did that. End of.
Right. Usisi Ulindani here has got a question for you. Uti, the thing is also difficult to help someone who's not ready to be helped. So how do we help those to see Uguti they need help? So how do we help those that
oh yeah, okay. So because one thing I know is normally those people who don't want to be helped is because sometimes it's shame, sometimes it's because but what I normally do, I just send some links. Just send some links our abuse, with domestic violence, and try and put it in the picture. Trust me, even if you didn't want to hear it from my mouth, when you look to those links with the pictures, those links with people's testimonies, then one way or the other you will. Because I can't go there in your house and have you kicking and screaming and running away. Sometimes talking to you with your job, you are going through this, because they will lie. They will say, never, it's not happening. Yet at night they are crying. They will use the makeup to cover their scars. And it's unfortunate, but as I said, imagine those groups, you're meeting every week, like they do in churches. You're talking about those things, abuse. Oh, you know one thing, the other day I had such and such. You know, those are the things. Because and then trains of, oh, this is Trey, another one of my brother who's in America, is always supporting. So bro, those people, it's not easy. And even if you report to the police, when the police go there and they say no, nothing of that has happened. So try and find a way. If it's your friend, you are going out there for dinner and you're like, hey, you know, this such happen. Find a way. I'm this person. I've got those plans. I know if you are my friend, even if you are not my friend, I've seen something. You find me sending. They're gonna lap. Some of them think, I will save them. I speak out on Facebook without, and I'll be telling you the signs, how you see it when you're in an abusive relationship. They are there in my videos. Apart from that, just pray on top of it.
That's wonderful. No, that's good advice. So we really appreciate that piece of advice that you're sharing with, you know, as you are saying, with a true man or even a true woman who never hurt his man. You know, by show abandu communication and listening and talking is key. And when you say you're sorry, you should really mean it, not just to use it as a password. Just to move talking. And also when people see signs earlier, you know, they need to really get those things addressed as soon as possible. And you did mention as well that help is there out there. You don't have to wait until you are now put in one of those bags that are not very good looking, you know. So we really need to ensure that we look after each other as people in the community and try and do as much as we can to support. Again, I still go back to the point of what we are still seeking out and looking out for role models, because
you will agree with me that in some of us growing up back home, we used to have a gogo or auntie where we can go and get support and get help. But lana UK,
We don't.
abasekho, they're not there anymore. They spend more time somewhere tweaking and dancing and doing all sorts, and they don't have time
And
to
they are the
assist
gossipers as well these days about Labo
and the
Aunt.
gossipers. You know, I would really like to see such a community where people can know what, even I'm going through stuff, you know, I go to a particular community group of people who will really help out, because sometimes it's just a one-off, and when a thing is tolerated, then it gets out of hand. But again, domestic abuse is domestic abuse. It's not a good thing. It's not accepted. It's not polished. We don't want those kind of things. So we want to speak to the men and also to our sisters, you know, healthy relationships, start communicating and engaging,
Communicating
spending time,
is the key.
ensure that you know, you learn and you grow together. Especially here, we have traveled. You know, it's more like one man for himself and God for us
God
all.
for us. Oh
So,
yes, oh yes.
so you just try, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then you keep trying different things. And some people are just here and they don't have relatives. So to them, that person is the person. You know, and they feel that if they do something to that person, then they may lose out, because as you know, in this country, some people, yes, some people in this country are into social work, they're into nursing. It's most of the jobs that our brothers and sisters are doing. And once their CRB is messed up, that means the future is already gone. So some people are scared, you know, to step out and report such things. But tonight, I am sure that as our brothers and sisters are listening, help is there out front. We need to consult, we need to pick up the phone. Usisusu, as she's saying, which has helped quite a lot of people. Find someone you can trust, someone you can talk to, because I think that's another element. We don't have people in our circles that we can trust. You know, they are always waiting.
When you were saying bye, press hey. This, you know, one thing, I will say it and I'll say it again. If you find yourself doing that, is witchcraft. I'm sorry I put it that way. Witchcraft is not using multi poison. It's witchcraft. Because if I come crying to you, you should tell yourself, you know, I mean, that people come to me, but you know one thing, I just feel they don't know. To me, I feel, for somebody to trust me with such an information. You know what I mean? I don't look at myself as, I help. That's why I always say, we supporting each other. Because me, as I am, you can help on his own, saying, Johnny, saying nasty things about me, but you can never hear me saying, that's why the other day I helped you through that. Why? Maybe because life has taught me that. I've gone through so much in life, and I know how it hurts when somebody, it destroys your trust. But I'm gonna say right now to all you brothers and sisters, Maureen, Tracy, I'm challenging you, find a group of ladies where you can have maybe a fortnight talking about the abuse. And remember, domestic abuse, as I said, is not only the sexual abuse, it's in there. You know, in our community, going break from a kaya, they will touch your is allowed to touch you. Those are the things of which, if you realize people here now, when they tell you the pain they went through from the abuse, is because they were never believed. They didn't see it that way. So if you're saying when you don't want to do things the European way, how do you want it? Don't put Europe or Africa. Look at the deed. Is domestic violence is domestic violence, and it needs to be punished for it. So at the end of the day, we won't get far if we judge. You know, one thing, judging. Even what Judge Judy? Why would you be Judge Judy? You are not paid to judge people, but you are judging her lifestyle. You are judging the way she's done things. Can you not be a brother's keeper or a sister's keeper to say, I realize that? Some will be when you can have because people don't trust these days. There is paranoia. And then the person has a depression. The person does not come out of the house, you judge her again. So it's all, that's why I'm doing both abuse and mental health. Because if you are nearing me, you are emotionally abusing me, because you are telling somebody about something that I told you in confidence, and now I'm the village topic. That's abuse. So at the minute you look at it that way, you sit there and think, you know what, I know Sugar Mackenzie, she laughs when she's serious. Don't think if I go on TV like Panamesta. No, I'm spreading the word. I want it to go further. That's why this foundation is on Plan Ngale Africa. Because I'm realizing where our shortcomings are, judging, laughing, group as if we are not, but from the same group. You meet up, you talk about that person. We need to stem. And to be honest with you, I'm calling upon churches. Pray for that spirit of gossip. Because it's killing people.
Okay, no, thank you so much, Sister Sue, for touching on that. Now, moving on to the topic of mental health. I know you've been to places, you've been in and out, and you've been an advocate in that area. What is mental health?
Mental health, to be honest with you, is more psychological. And it's normally sometimes because of the environment where you are. Because it's a spectrum, we cannot say it in one. Because you can find there are more than 100 disorders in that umbrella of mental health. But the main one that people understand is depression.
Right.
Depression.
Who mainly does it affect?
Most of the times, I think working mothers, and some of us here, we are not in our countries. You know, sometimes you don't realize when you're depressed because things get too much in your head. You have to deal with others. Mama, you are a father, you are a student, and then you are employed. Oh, you've gone through so much, but you can't speak out. That's why I keep saying, you know what, speaking out is the key. Because if you're not speaking out, you are bottling it in there. And then when you're bottling it in there, that's when you end up with a breakdown. Depression, you might feel loss of motivation. You just don't want to get off bed. You just don't want anyone around you. You just want your me time. That's the onset. But when it gets worse to a breakdown, when those people that we used to see going around talking on their own by their own, in this end they'll say it's hallucinations. But that's depression. But then there's another.
So what causes?
It's depression, as I said. So many factors. Mostly environment or goyo.
Okay, what do you mean by environment?
Environment, okay, let's look at our refugees or us, Tinaba, our immigrants. We have no support. Whether Lapo corner, you have no support. Very mostly it's about support. We have no one to talk to. We have no one to tell. Because I'll tell you, talking therapy is not only like if you see a counselor. You talking to me and telling me how you feel. At these days in Ghana, you don't go out, let's go and have a meal. Because depression here sits out on mostly about this anxiety that we're talking about. You speak lightly, but you don't let anxiety. But it's about corner any worse. Because it's what imagine you're keeping on, you are a sounding board. You are a sounding board. You don't know how to tell you are weird, and then you are frustrated. At work, your boss was this. Now you are coming, children are waiting. You are getting phone calls from Zimbabwe. You are getting from any other country. And sometimes you find yourself in that environment. I'm alone. Nobody understands me. From there, when it gets worse, it ferments. You think nobody can understand. Then you think paranoia when who told you? So it's one of those things. Some of them things they say is genetically, but there's been because most of the times when I'm supporting people, I tell them I'm not supporting you as a nurse because I don't want NHS to say I've got my own clinic. But is it a person who relates? A person who's been there and a person who's been in the field. Remember, when you are at work, you cannot help as much because there is time. But about it, most people, most Africans, depression does. And the PTSD is another post-traumatic stress depression. PTSD, you call it flashbacks. You've gone through a trauma, you've witnessed a situation like, in my case, I had gone through some kind of abuse. And the talking on a letter, that's why we say, if the talking was there in Africa, I could have spoke about it, but I didn't. You see? So those flashbacks will come when you don't expect them. Those flashbacks can come up on TV. It's not only about abuse. You witness something horrendous happening in front of your eyes. Maybe when I've been supporting your mother or whatever, they died right there in your arms. And all those things, apart from medication, talking.
Right.
Talking, and when you talk. And you know, I'm not going to say it lightly, because this here was one person who was like that. I didn't think nobody would understand me. Nobody would, believe me. Who cares? But I was working with that pain. I would laugh, but then cry when you're not there. But that's why I realized, you know one thing, Sugo, you ended up doing what you shouldn't have done. Yeah, I remember there was a story about me on the newspaper, but he was suicide. If you see the post, memory saying, how do you deal with those flashbacks? Most of the times, Memo, you try, like, talking therapy helps, but you try and make sure, with, like, if, you know, when you know your triggers, which if I'm in this environment, it triggers that, just move away from it. Like, Mina, when there's something like, I'm a soap operas, oh my God, you guys know what? This phone is jealous, but I refuse in Jesus' name. If battery is going, so I'm gonna be charging it while we're speaking, guys. Please bear with me, because I didn't realize that we're gonna take this long. But yeah, so basically, all I'm saying is, Memo, is when you know your triggers, right? You don't need to be told where not to go and where to go, because you already know your triggers. You are not told, Memo, don't watch this, but watch this instead. And then coping strategies. Different people, different ways of coping. I'm sorry, I won't have to use my earphone now because I have to charge this phone. I don't think Apple knew what they were doing. Yeah, okay, I'll use the different ones. Yeah, so Lapana, now the phone is charging, but I have to take this off because I put on the phone. Right, so now when you have these coping strategies, you know what could be of help to you. Like in my case, at first I had this thoughts diary. I was writing it. I was writing down, I was writing down stuff, not the thoughts diary. Because when whatever happened to me it was after working with people who've gone through the same thing I went through. So that's it. But apart from that, I'm sorry, I know not everybody here is a Christian, and I don't want to push my belief on you, but it's prayer. It's prayer that made me being able to speak to you. Prayer that makes me able to support. Because when I support, I just say, God, use me as a vessel. Because if I'm to support you with my own emotions, I won't be able to.
Okay. I did see an article sometime, I think late last week or early in the month, where they were saying that they were having concerns that also the younger people, the teenagers, are getting more of a situation where more now are having they need to have some mental health issues. I mean, awareness, kind of education, because it seems there's been more of an attack in that age group. So it's something that does not discriminate in terms of age. It can affect anybody.
But no, it doesn't. That's why if you realize in my foundation, I've started working with the youth, because it's through the, it's stigma and mental health. Oh my God, she's going like this. Those jibes that we do with people. You don't joke about mental health. Some children is cyberbullying. But I mean, on Facebook, there's too much of cyberbullying. People can attack a person, and in the end, you are laughing. That person, how do they feel when they're on their own? Because you are pushing that person to another pain. And then when it comes to children, the one that I sent, when it comes to my exams and stuff, children, problem is we need to give our children the chance to speak to us. Don't push them too hard. Painful thing is, as you saw the clip that I sent, 3 suicides. And then in Africa, Zimbabwe recently, there's a concern. There's so much happening on suicide. Then you when they are suicide is selfishness. Why can you not look at it as a mental health problem? Because if you are in your right mind, you won't want to, to say, I don't want to live anymore.
So now in a situation like that, so because I know with Emma universities, they do set up departments that attend to people that are suffering from any or that need help or advice in that area. Is the church doing anything about that? Because lately I saw somebody talking about that the other day, saying that even pastors themselves are suffering from mental health, but cannot come out and say it. So are the church doing anything in that topic, or to them it's just sow a seed, we prophesy, Papa, go deeper, man of God?
Papa, don't start me on this Papa thing.
What is it? Is the church doing anything about that? Do you know?
You know one thing, my brother. Yeah, you saw my videos when I was saying the elders in the church themselves. They teaching people lies. They will tell you that don't listen, don't take depression tablets, don't go for counseling. But my question is, you men of God, when your wife is ready to go to give birth, where do you take them to? You take them to the same hospital that you are telling your parish members not to go. How about pray and get support? But they don't do that. And then when those people they have a relapse, the pastor will say you have no faith. So I'm calling upon church elders, whether youth leaders, find time to talk about abuse and mental health, because it's there. Don't say it's demonic. Don't say it's spiritual attacks. It's an imbalance. And you need to deal with it as it is. Don't tell me if I sow a seed. You preaching about prosperity. What am I going to do with the prosperity when I am not okay in my head, in my heart, and in my mind? The pastor, I'm telling you, the church is getting worse. We will talk. I've had threads in my inbox last time. They saying the things that will befall you, you don't know. But I said, I know the God that I serve. I'm not going to stop. Church. You have depression sometimes. You have stress. You take tablets when you've got a headache. What is the difference between taking tablets for mental health problems? Why are you stigmatizing? Because it has to start there. Stomping out stigma should start there.
Right. So in our communities, so when we start to see those signs, or people who are experts in those areas, when you start to pick up a few signs and things like that, what advice? Because some people don't know, they may think it's just a norm or there is nothing wrong with it. But because Nina, you guys are experts in the field, you're able to pick up these things. What advice would you give out?
Mina, I normally reach out, but what I'm doing, I'm using the social media. I normally say, guys, today we are talking about this and that. So like we talking now. So people watch my videos and somebody will say, Asugu, such and such of our relatives. Yeah, we know, You know, the signs you were talking about, but they don't want to speak to me. So I'll say, okay, give them my number. And first I'll make them realize what I relate. Don't think I relate myself. I've got PTSD, so I'm not going to judge you. And I'm not going to tell anyone you don't. So I talk to them. They tell me how they're feeling, then I tell them what it is and what help, where they can get help. And then when I've showed them where to get help, I follow up to realize they've got a community nurse. Ask me such and such questions. You see, I know last time I was told, so the reason you are burning out because you are being a counselor, whatever, if you refer somebody. But Kanyela, this person is finally black courage to talk about what they're going through. If I show them, think, how am I supposed to be sure they'll follow through? So my brother, my sister, you find yourself isolating yourself. You find your friend these days, they are staying in bed. You find them sometimes, the mannerism, it's as if they are saying different. Don't say it's witchcraft, there might be hallucination. So we need to teach each other about mental health. And normally when I talk, I don't talk in a way which I'm a professional, because where is the difference between you going on Google? I'm telling you in the simplest terms. Is a which land I've been there. I'm living with it. You can look at me and think, no, but you don't know this girl. So when you see those videos, you see me talk about abuse, talking about mental health, because I relate. I'm not talking about books. I relate. And you know, some people come in for support, and the people are as well. That makes me understand, oh, there's such a thing. Let's work together. Let's do it this way. Just hold my hand. I'll hold your hand, but I'll let you go. So that next time you won't be dependent on me. Because my prayer is always that, yes, in the 7. When I'm talking to somebody, they will do the same. You go into your community, you say, you know what, guys, we had such and such. Recently, I was told there's a graduate who recently committed suicide in Rotherham because their eyesight. People take tablets, whatever, and overdose. I didn't want to talk to anyone. So if we get these platforms, if we talk, don't say it's about Usugu that I'm doing something that she was talking about. I want you to do that. I want you to spread this message. I want you to share, and to the extent to which when I see you saying, so I'm inviting you because I'm doing this is a certain group. And out there, it's not so no thing. No, mental health and abuse might be an advocate, but don't think if you are doing it, because that's the problem we have with Facebook. If I'm doing something and you're doing it on another platform, I say no, it's not mine. If you could be in your church, bro, and talk about it with youth, yeah, and I speak to you. The thing is, you see, the thing with me, I don't support people on Facebook only. In my community, I do that. I support people from different places. But imagine those people when they leave and then start supporting people. Can you not see how good it would be?
Yeah.
That's only what we want. We just want to work together, saying, I didn't know, now I know.
That's right. So how then do you deal with the issue? Yes, stigmatization then when people are being stigmatized about this.
That's why I have these videos. I tell you, speak out, let your voice be heard. It's not a curse. It's not a demonic thing. It's an illness. It's an illness just like any other illness, like diabetes, like cancer. You don't give.
It can affect anybody as well. It can affect anybody as well.
And another problem, though, bro, like William Dan said, and another person had said, if you are supporting a member of your family with a mental health problems, they support you out there. I know there are too much cards there. I've contested that. They don't have much support for the families. But there are places that you can go. I know some of these things, they tell you sites and number, they don't do is that. That's when I say, you know what, I'm there, I mean. But there are places you need support too, because It's emotional. It's draining you. Ukhangele, sister who's got a problem with depression every time. You need a break. You need some me time too.
Wonderful.
If there is my billboards, they talk about antibiotics. Tell me how many billboards have you seen at the mental health places and seeing numbers? Rarely. It's only when you're watching on TV if you've been affected by this. But let's not wait for that. I want you next time you are in Zimbabwe to say, oh, so I was there with Foundation then I popped there. Because that's what I do. I see myself having more of those things around our country in the villages. Because it's there. You say men you get depressed. Don't listen to that lie. You get depressed. And to all men who've actually come to my inbox and we help each other, I ask you, try and help some of your friends too. Because you've spoken about me, what more would it hurt? Just help them. Men do get depressed. And some people in Africa, they say they don't believe in depression. I was ever heard of it.
Yes, people do say such things, yes.
And can I ask you, so bro, are you going to have a group where you're going to be talking about mental health in your church?
Well, I have used the platform today. I am sure a lot of people are listening because I am not an expert in that area. And now that, when you talk to people that are already active, it becomes more effective than some of us. We will always support, we will always raise these issues because, like as I always say, there are things that are biblical and there are some issues that are to do with what people are going through in the society, whereby we then have to step out as a church, you understand, and then sit down and counsel those that need help in that area because not everything is scriptural or it's about the Bible. Yes, some of the things we need to pray about, but some of the things we need to talk about. Like for an example, we were talking about domestic violence. I cannot come to your home, Sisu, if I know there's been a situation and I get there and I start speaking in tongues. If you are the one who is very hot, I know of one of the pastors who came out running out of the house because the woman who hit him with a pen. You understand? He hit this man with a pen because there was a problem.
Exactly.
This lady wanted the pastor to come in and talk to them. You understand? Because some of the things we pray, we talk, and we pray over it. You understand?
I know.
So that's why I raised the issue of mental health because it has not been only raised once but several times to me. What is the church doing about this? Because as I said, if you go to university, there is a department that attends to that. And when you talk of institutions like that, you're talking of institutions that has got people, academics that are starting in that area. When you go to work, there are now departments in the industry, wherever you are, where people can call anonymously and be assisted. You understand? So as coming to the church, I think we still need to catch up because people come in at the end of the day, some of the people that are being abused in the church is because they are vulnerable. You understand? It's because they are not
elders. I'm an elder in church. I went to court about last time in Leeds. The man who put on Facebook, he was an elder in the church and he was abusing his own daughter. Right? I'll tell you one thing, bro. I'm not raising awareness as a person, Leonard. I'm raising awareness because I relate. I'm looking at my walk and I'm saying, I don't want anybody going through what I went through. I'm not Jesus, but I'm using myself as a sounding board to say in mental health, you don't have to say Lana positive for mental health. Abuse, you might have seen it in newspaper who was abused, but that doesn't mean everybody knows it. Do you know the abuse month I went to schools? Do you know some children didn't even know what abuse, what they could put as abuse? I'm talking British. They actually asked me, would you say bullying is abuse? And I said, yes, it is abuse. You see, so we teach each other, and I understand where you're coming from. But that's why I say to people, you don't need to train to raise awareness. Like now, you train to ask me what you're asking me. Did you train for that? No. Exactly. You've done great. How about just talking about it sometimes, even in the churches? Let's talk about, let's stop. I'm sorry, Labo Papa, these new churches, Abalabo, Profitable Manga. They are ruining our country. One, they will take away the simple money they have, and then they are depressed. They don't have all these papas. And now, people, you are too much on I receive. What are you receiving? Papa, the Papa I know is in heaven. Receive. What have you received? What are you receiving? There was a time somebody said a pastor's child just took a phone when the father was not looking and just wrote a magic. It went there. They started, I received, Papa. Jesus will ask me how many fathers you have. Let's not teach lies. Let's not try and teach church to be against doctors, against hospital. It can work together. Those people who are there, it's God who's using them for a greater good. Stop. You want to talk about seed, in next week you get some money. Jesus, how can you get money that you don't have? You go into your account, you've got thousands. You know it's not of God. So let's stop lying to each other. I am not against church. I have my personal relationship with God. I don't judge. And the fact that you don't go to church does not mean you don't have to pray. But I'm saying, open up here. The Bible says my people perish because of lack of knowledge. I don't remember Jesus standing on there and saying, hey, call me Papa. Now I want you to drink this water or this petrol. It will turn to what? You see, sometimes it's just this. We need to use that. I love you, my friends. No, I love you. That's why sometimes I take time talking. But stop it. Go to the source. And when I say go to the source, your source is God, your Father. Do you call fake prophets to speak to your Father? How do you pay Baba? Speak to your Father. They personal relationship. And then this means their health. And then when it happens, because as I said, it has no gender. I love to when it happens, you know, when you are going to the hospital, God knows that my daughter spoke to me. God is to go to hospital. You know, so we are equipped with some. I believe everybody on earth has a purpose. I might have a purpose of doing what I'm doing. You have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. Imagine if we put all our purposes together, we will have a great community. So first we stomp out stigma and stomp out lying prophets, fake ones. God is watching. And then open our eyes and our ears. Stop gossiping. Gossip is witchcraft. You can talk about me, right? Because I'm the strong person. But imagine that person who's just going through something. Do you know you can push somebody to suicide? By bullying them. People, let's try and understand each other. Let's be there for each other. It doesn't cost anything. Just a smile. Just a smile. You know, sometimes when I'm walking with my children in town, I don't just pass by with something. My daughter like, Mommy, behave. Because I can't just say I'm seeing something wrong happening there, and then I just pass by. But all I'm saying, you've had this platform. You've taken an hour. You spoke to people. What we have to see my video. The Market Foundation is on. You've known it. So guys, I know Poshi, Julia Lonke. And use what we have to help our community. But first of all, judgmental and stigma. Let's carry on.
That's right. You are doing a great job, Sisu, in the community, and we really want to keep encouraging you for the work that you're doing. Keep supporting those that you are supporting, and especially what I like with what you just said is that when you do these things, you do them anonymously. so that these people can have confidence that they can come back to you and still talk to you. Because I know sometimes abantu abangobaba, they feel okay to talk to nabantu abangomama, because kwesinye isikhathi it's difficult to talk to other men because you may look like, man, you are the weakest link, or what's up with this man, you know, and when they're drinking out there, they start talking about you. But we pray and hope that God is going to raise women like you in UK more, that can, you know, do the work that you're doing, raising the awareness on mental health issues, and also raising the issues, making an awareness on people that are suffering with domestic violence or abuse, so that people learn to stand up. And also, you know, leading to this point that you did not just only talk about it, but now you've gone a step further, Sisuku, now to set up a foundation so that you can be recognized for the work that you're doing. Can you briefly talk to us about that project, please?
Now, in foundation, it was after the fact that, because I'm always doing this awareness of abuse on my own, but then it came to an extent where people now, they inbox me, and then sometimes because of my passion, I found myself overworking myself. And all along, it's been years. Some people say, why don't you make people pray? Why don't you pay for your service? But then I realized, you know, one thing, so I can't just support people on my circle. So this foundation, it's abuse and mental health together. And I won't be working on my own. And the person who realized me, it's another lady, she's British. She said, so have you ever thought of starting something? I said, yeah, most people have said it, but I think, and then I realized that if I am not there, those people, because they're used to Sugumoyo Mackenzie only, they won't. So now with the foundation, we're gonna have people working with me, such that you don't have to wait on Sugu only. And then in Africa, yes, they already know, they're already waiting. Same thing is gonna happen. So that, as I said, abuse and mental health, there's a link there, and they're all stigmatized. Because growing back, the mad person who sees running away with naked clothing, but now we know God. So on that part, on that foundation, you get to know more than what you are getting from me now here on your phone. You get to have time to sit with me. You get to have time to know which services that I'm working with. That they know that, okay, these people, they are coming from Sugu's foundation. These people, so I'll be working with some trust. Unlike now it's just me, and you know very well that sometimes you do get, you know, tired, but I've been overdoing things. So this foundation is to make sure, that's why it's called Let's Talk About It. No more silence. When I say no more silence, let's talk about it. The same thing I'm saying. Do not be afraid to speak. You know, it starts from there. Once you speak, there. So this foundation, but the Zimbabwe one is gonna be there. Yes, even if you are not in Zimbabwe, don't you worry, it's coming over. Because I'm not just doing a smaller thing. Look, it's taken years for me building up, knowing how many people call. So once the foundation is there, it's gonna be easy. So that's
wonderful. You are doing very well, Sue, and I must say, as I keep saying, that when people stand up in the community and decide to give back in whichever way, because when you help one person, you have done quite a lot than just looking and just talk about it and just laugh. You know, that is not very good. But you have gone a step further. You do take your time and you do signpost people to relevant department for themselves to get help. So for that, I just want to encourage you that I know the community that where we come from right now, some people may be even saying, hey, Stephen Dosuwa, you know, but I'm hoping tonight, because I, for one, you know, I was not that much an all-rounder in terms of getting knowledge about mental health issues. But tonight, the information that I received from you, I feel empowered. I feel that there's something that I know, because sometimes we just go through things in life and think, yeah, you've got to be strong. You've got to be strong. You've got to deal with it. Not realizing you know, you need to do something in order to get treatment, because if you, the longer you leave it, the longer you delay it, then it ends up into depression and other things. Yes.
Another thing is, don't tell somebody to snap out of it. Don't say snap out of it. It's an illness. And don't joke about that. Umuntu lona akazithathi. Kuba le inkinga engeke ngaba live recently khona lapho. You know, people see Facebook. Ungathi umuntu lona akazithathi. We are trying to stomp out stigma in this month. Vele lona sesithi auntie. No, let's stop using those words. It's an illness. Don't taunt people using those words. So nobody can snap out of depression. Nobody can snap out anxiety. Nobody can snap out of schizophrenia. Don't say that family, all of them have mental health problems by a lawyer. There is no witchcraft. It's an illness. Bipolar disorder, where somebody 1 minute they are on a high, next they are on a suicidal low. Let's try and get to know such things. Postnatal depression. This woman just gave birth, but this woman is sleeping. She doesn't. Hey, you should be doing that. When the person is suffering for a postnatal depression, it happens to new mothers sometimes. So when we don't know things, let's stop labeling and judging people because we don't know. That's all I'm saying. With mental health, as I said, it's a vast one. But as long as you don't know the thing, don't judge, don't laugh. Don't laugh from an illness.
Because you never know, you could be the next person, or it could be someone in your family, you know. And I for one, last week I had to deal with a situation in the office, and for me especially, I'm that and I'm an activist, but you never know, because when people start to discriminate people based on how they are or how they feel or how they behave, it really sometimes does get on my nerve, and it's not the right thing. No. It is quite easier for most of us, especially our people, when it comes to issues to do with discrimination. We especially already said issue to do with race, we stand on the tables and we go mad. But when someone is suffering from a condition, it's also another form of discrimination, and it's not a good thing. No. You know, but I understand it's because sometimes it's the education, is the information that we don't have, and then we just laugh over things and because we're not well informed. No, but tonight, as I'm saying, Uguti, this has been so helpful, and we want to encourage you, you know, to keep doing what you are doing, because sometimes a community is built by people in the community. Yeah. You know, it's not everybody who raises the hand to say I need help. There are some that are just quiet with their head down, but you guys, I'm sure what you are able to pick up the signs and simply say, look, if you want to talk, just pick up the phone. But
when you were talking about discrimination, right? Don't help people because you're gonna get something from them. Mina, with you here and that boy who's sleeping outside, to me, I give you all the respect. I don't say, oh, I'm working with the big guns. No. If I support you, if I talk with you, if I look at you, I see a human being like me. Whether you are the CEO of whatever, don't do that. So as you are saying, mostly in the office, there's too much bullying in the office. If you listen to most of my videos, there is too much bullying in the offices, in the workplace. There's sexual harassment, but bullying, whether it's about post, whether it's position. And I'm glad, as you said, you've got to know more, because you're going to make use of it. And you're going to, at least when you see it happening, then you realize, no. Because bullying is what's pushing people. And you know, people from workplaces, like you are saying, it's discrimination. When it's black on white, white on black, but when it's black on black or white on white, we need to know discrimination is wrong, whether whatever gender or whatever race. And I'm glad you just brought that on, because Ben saying is running and we have finished. But anyway, I'm glad you spoke that about the office.
No, see, we want to thank you, Mama, for the work that you're doing. And for those that have joined us tonight, guys, let us spread the news. Let us keep on going on and raising the awareness on these issues so that we educate people and inform them, and also signpost them to the relevant people that will be in a position to help them. If someone talks to you and you are in a position where you cannot help, don't pass the news and start making that person the talk of the town. They came to you because they have trust Uguti. You can listen and try and help. I'm one person who, if I don't have the answer, I don't answer back. I just signpost. I don't know everything.
Exactly.
You understand?
Nobody does.
Some people sometimes they just want someone who they can talk to, and they don't want you to say anything back. Just when they offload, they feel better. You understand? So it's a ministry, as I say, on its own, that some people don't realize. That's a gifting that God has given to some people, where people can come to you and say things to you, even if you don't have anything to say, but they walk away feeling much better. So in a situation like that, I say to people sometimes, if you don't have the answer, just listen, and when you finish, just pray with the person. If there's not much help you can offer, ask the person, can I recommend you to an organization that can assist you in that department? And let it be the end of the matter. The thing is, what somebody said the other day that disappoints me with most of our brothers here. They work for institutions where they know very well about the issues to do with confidentiality. They know they are well versed. But when they get into the community, it's like that book, they leave it when they get out of work. And when they get home and when they hear the issue, they cannot apply that principle of confidentiality. That Sugu came to me and she shared this with me. Why can't I just learn to keep it to myself and say, you know what, my sister, let's just pray about it and give it to God, not just pass it on to other people? Because when we do that, we build each other, we build the community.
That's very true. That's very true. That's very true, bro. You're talking about flexibility. Once we come together and respect and love each other, problem is sometimes we don't know the meaning of the word love. Love is not just one thing, Liliana. Love is from what you do. Because if you're talking, that's why there's a talking therapy. You are given 30 minutes in the office of psychologist. They don't tell you anything. They just help. But if I listen to you talking to me about what you're going through, it's therapeutical for you because you know I've told it to somebody. I'll tell you, there are people like 50 years old. The person told me, Sugu, it's my first time talking about the abuse to you on the phone. So people carry there. But now we are saying, you know one thing, there is no shame. Just speak. And we are saying, as Stephen has just said, we are not going to judge you. Even if you're referred by a family member, what we speak about together, I'm not going to say it to her. I'm not going to give feedback to her because it's you who wants help. It's your choice if you want to tell somebody. But when somebody helps, please, people, let's try and respect that.
Wonderful. No, that's great. So now, yesterday we saw Uhari and Megan. Are we expecting to hear anything from you soon about Sugu?
No, you know what? The girl looked beautiful, but they looked elegant. And though Mama Lainale, Uhari's been a rebel, but it looked beautiful. It looked lovely. And then Lina Iganama jealous. But it was a great one, honestly. It was great. I admire them. I love that couple.
Yes. So, but for Usugu, are we gonna be hearing very soon what Usugu would be doing, wearing bells? Should we get ready? Come on. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Maybe there's a brother here, who's been praying, asking God, and trusting. But Well, I didn't know. We need to let them know. No, Usu is not available anymore.
Vele akakho availability. Done that kudala wathi umekene ngakaqalisi. Yakuthi
All right.
uzachaywa la mswena. Hey, ngomkhanyana soba.
No, that's wonderful.
Facebook.
I need to. You need to make sure that you look after the brothers, is it?
Manje uzachaywa because esuka nje lapho uyakufonela ukuthi kanti babakazi kanti sutheni sokwesibili ngoba sokutheni.
No, it is well. It is well. We had to throw that in so that we can, close the thing. We are more than lento yakhona. But
naseladla inkomo zonke ladla amakhekhe lashaya umbululu.
Aye, siyambonga uNkulunkulu mama. We want to say thank you so much for the work that you're doing and also for the support that you've always given us as a Rainbow. We are waiting for Detrick on the 16th of June. We are waiting for Utekshua in July. So I'm hoping that we are going to see you as well with your African attire. Yes.
I got my African attire. Okay, Tewari nzabe ngishayile regalia yonke African attire.
That's wonderful. Sisu, thank you so much for your time and the information that you shared tonight. So hopefully you'll be in a position to share more details concerning your projects that you're doing and also other issues to do where people can get help in areas of domestic violence or abuse, or those that need help in the areas of mental health awareness, and also where they can reach you if they need to talk to you, on other issues to those that
already. But I'll need support from you people as well, because this is a venture that is gonna be new. Foundation is a big thing, but you know what? We're gonna nail it. We're gonna do it.
Yes.
We're gonna
That's
do
great.
It.
So thank you so much for your time. And may God bless you. To all our viewers and everybody who joined in today, we want to say thank you so much for your time. May God bless you and have a good evening and have a blessed week as we started today in Jesus' name. Bye now.
Amen.
Bye-bye.